Hi there, it's Chris here on my channel, and it's time for a little bit of a more unusual update. Since I have not done a video in the last couple of weeks, if you may recall my GE show and tell record player and viewer, if you saw my last video when I got this off of eBay a couple of weeks ago, I did restore this, but it was working fine. But when I was doing the capacitors, replacement, and all the stuff, it was a failure. So when I was using this, I tried to hack it through the speaker, and then it was working fine. But then when I plugged it into the headphone, the amplifier is just kind of blown or anything because my computer had lost a sound card, internal sound card. It was completely gone. But that was just an amazing, and it was an unsuccessful restoration. But this show and tell is actually it's a failure. But I decided to get an EOL thing, so I have decided to do is, well, forget it. It's not going to work. There's no sound on there, nothing. But a couple of weeks later, I just ordered off of eBay like about a week ago, and what I got is something that I got. This thing this is what I got. This is like a similar model, but if you have not seen it before, there was actually a later model that I got it off of eBay because it's a later production. If you guess what it is, if you think again, if I made a video about it, this is what you ended up being. But it's a really good surprise. So feast your hands on this. Here it is. Say hello to this model, a GE show and tell record player and viewer, and this is a model A660. This is a later updated version of the 1964 GE show and tell. You know what's kind of interesting? It is a more abbreviated version, but you got your standard GE logo over there. And here's your volume control. And you can see here's the volume control. And of course, it has the light. It actually has the lamp saver, the lightsaber. No, not lightsaber. It says, all right, look at the camera here. It has a lightsaber switch where you can switch off and on. In one of the older models, it used to be on the back. The lamp switch is actually usually on the back, but this is actually a later production of this model. But it's got the volume control knob, but this is actually the same similar model, unlike the original comparison to the original show and tell. As you can see, the chair is right over here. Yep. This is the, as you can tell by the this was like the original version. This was a version 1 GE show and tell. It only has a volume control on top. But in the later production, it looks like it's a cousin. Yep, it looks like it turns out to be a cousin of the original model. But only has a turntable platter. I switched the turntable platter over there because look what happened to when I got this, the original. It was turning, but it was kind of completely dirt. It was dirty. So I cleaned everything. I cleaned all of the base, the screen, and everything. I tried to restore them. And I also sprayed the volume control. It works pretty good. And I also decided to get rid of this because it's broken. But when I first got it, when I was first done my restoration job, it was unsuccessful because the platter was broken when I got it, and I had to use a soldering iron to melt all this stuff and to pop it open, and just to free out of the case, out of this spindle. Yeah, I was trying to use a C-clip to remove them, and the thing stuck. Actually, I cannot open, and it was completely stuck. So I had to do is clean all, yeah, clean the same thing like when it was, unlike the other model. I did restore the turntable part of it, and I did restore everything. The lamp works pretty good, and of course there's actually the yep, the light works fine. The condenser light looks pretty good. But of course I gotta do is maybe I'll have to save for the extra one for the parts. But this is definitely a treat just for you. It's got a tone arm, and of course the 45 adapter, the same thing it was before. And you got your 4-speed turntable. It also has, it features 16, 33, 45, and 78. Plus it also has a neutral position. But I'm going to stop the video right now, and I'm going to present to you a demonstration. Okay, we'll give you a little, before I can start this little demonstration here, here's the front. This is the side. It has the exact same thing as the older ones does. It's the focusing lever is where you can adjust your focusing. Back, yep, it also has the cord storage. You can wrap around your cord. And here's your speaker. And there you go. And you can see what's underneath. I actually peeled the label off or something to see what was underneath. There's the engraved info label on there. But this has the old GE information label. And and of course, here's your, and there you go. All of this is in one place. And by the way, as you can see, it has, and you can see what's on the bottom. I want to focus real. I have to focus here. It says Youth Electronics. This is one of the a series of models made for designed for children, and it was GE's attempt. This was actually one of several models that GE made, which was targeted towards kids, and was called the Youth Electronics. GE also made a lot of other record players made especially for kids under the Youth Electronics brand. And let's see if I can try to demonstrate this here and see what it does. Here we are. This is the inside of this actual GE show and tell, and this is sort of a later model, but as you can tell, this has actually, if you've seen the old capacitors in my last one in the circuit board, that you, if you may remember, of the what was called the then SICK, the original GE show and tell. Guess what? It has all the. This is a later circuit board, but this is completely different. And yep, the model is complete. Yep, this circuit board is a completely updated version, but of course it has all the capacitors. It has the, yep, it does have the power supply, and of course it does have the volume pots. I did spray a little bit of a volume pot, so I sprayed a little bit of WD-40 when I actually started putting it on. And yep, all the original capacitors, it looks really good, but yep, it does have this does have all the capacitors. These are two of them. A lot of these were resistors, some of them were resistors, and this is kind of like a one-stage amplifier. It's a little tiny stage amplifier, but it goes right through the speaker. And this is a very nice unit for if you're into these other electronic stuff. That's the way it goes. And also, in addition, it has that little thing right there. As you can see, there's the, yep, but this is a more later version of this. It goes right to the little advanced slide, so you can advance the next one. I just cleaned it out, but when I first tested it, it does not go into the next slide. So I wish if I had to clean this all the remaining stuff with alcohol and all this stuff. And yep, it has that little worm gear on. Yep, it has a little tiny worm gear on that. Replaced it. Yeah, this has a lot of later models had it, but some of the original ones used to have a belt. If there was a Model 1 GE show and tell. It does have a belt on there, but it's kind of like it was taken out of a reel-to-reel machine, and like a counter from a reel-to-reel deck. But this is typically your average base design for this one. But I also clean out all the stuff. I actually clean out everything. It was because it's very dirty on the inside. And there you go. Let's put this thing back together and ready for a test. Now my GE show and tell is put back into place, ready to run. All I just do is I put a record in. If you can see, it's right over here. It says show and tell picture sound program The Wizard of Oz. It's sitting at my record, and the slide, actually I put a slide in here, and it's ready to be showing. When you turn this on, you need to turn this. If you turn this on, you have a lightsaber switch. There's a lightsaber switch. You can turn it on your film, and voila, it's ready to show. And all you can do is adjust your focus on using this one to focus, and it's good to go. So you ready? Let's start this thing and get it going.
The Wizard of Oz? Never heard of him out here in Kansas with Uncle Henry and Aunt Em. Did you, Toto? Right, Dorothy. Yes, Aunt Em.
Someone coming, run for the cellar.
Where am I? Welcome to the land of Oz. How do I get back to Kansas?
Yeah, this thing it won't advance to the next slide.
Goodbye. Come, Toto. Down the yellow brick road we go. Down the yellow brick road we go.
Hello.
Scarecrow.
Where to?
To the wizard.
I've no brain. Will the wizard give me one?
Come on, we'll find out. Down the yellow brick road we go. Down the yellow brick road. That's the Tin Woodman.
I rusted because it rained. Where to?
To see the wizard.
Will he give me a hat?
Come on, we'll find out. Down the yellow brick road we go. Lion hits the Scarecrow. He's biting Toto. Stop that!
Never hit me.
Cry, baby.
Do me a favor. Make me braver.
We'll ask the wizard. Come on. Down the yellow brick road we go.
I stepped on a beetle. My tears make me rust. I'll quit.
All right, let's go.
Down the yellow brick road. Whoa, wash out. How can we cross? Everybody on my back. I'll jump across.
Aren't you afraid?
Yes, and I won't think about it. Hold on, here we go. Yeah!
You're brave.
Let's go. Down the yellow brick road we go. Stop! Like washout. Tin Man, cut a log to make a bridge. Okay. Timber! There's your bridge.
Let's go.
Down the yellow brick road we go.
We're here. Wizard, please.
I'm the wizard. Now who wants what?
Dorothy, Kansas.
Scarecrow, brain.
Tin Woodman, heart.
Lion, courage.
First, you must destroy the Wicked Witch of the West.
How do we find her?
Walk west, and she'll find you.
All right, we're walking west.
Here she comes.
Wow, now here, don't be familiar. Now you're my slave. You'll sweep and mop and wash and scrub and clean and dust. I kick dogs, don't you dare. Ah, you threw water on me. Now I'm melting away. Nothing left but her magic shoes.
Put them on. Now all join hands and paws.
I wish us back to the wizard.
Go back so soon, and the witch.
Washed up.
Each of you already have your wish. Scarecrow followed the long bridge. Brainy. Tin, you wept for the beetle. Heart. Lion, you jumped the chasm. Courage.
Just kidding.
Dorothy, you have magic shoes.
Oh, yes. Come on, Toto. Let's. Goodbye. I love you. I wish us back to Kansas. Here we are, Toto, back in Kansas. Dorothy. Oh, Aunt Em, I'm so glad to be home.
There you go. And that ends the story. All you gotta do is lift the tone arm and put it back into the rest. Yeah, but unfortunately, this armrest, it doesn't even seem to fit well. Yeah, it doesn't even go there, but it's a little tighter. Yep, it's tone arm, it needs a little bit of a tighter, but anyways. Well, that was actually a show and tell picture sound program of the Wizard of Oz. Unfortunately, there's actually another video posted on YouTube. You have to see the actual stuff in action, but this is the full demonstration of this show and tell. Well, yeah, this makes that as actually a kid's record player and a viewer. So if you don't want the kid stuff, well, you got to go to the fun stuff. You know? How about we'll try out some records, shall we? And we're going to start off with a 33. And this is what I'm going to talk about. Well, speaking of the GE Show and Tell Picture Sound Program records, are there any records to be played on a GE Show and Tell? Well, but you can. Well, if you play music besides any non-kid songs, but well, now you can. Let's try out 33. All you gotta do is turn off the lamp saver switch, and you can try out a 33. But unfortunately, it will go up there. So, yep, this GE Show and Tell will play regular records, not like kids' records do. So let's try it out, this one, for a test run, shall we? Alright, I'm not going to play this one, but yeah, just to give you a little demonstration here, that's the song right there. I'm not, besides all the copyright BS, I'm not going to put this song up there. So, let's try 45. Let's see, if I'm thinking, whatever you do, let's try out 45. Hold on a second. Alright, that's enough of that. And let's try out 78. Alright, that's enough of that. That's, all you gotta do is just, if you're done, you should set it back to either turn it power off, or you can set it on to neutral position. And yep, this does have a neutral position as well. And that's all you can tell you all about this thing. But it stops automatically. It's not automatically, it's just a manual function. You have to set it on the neutral position. Alright, there you go. That's enough of that for this review. And tell us what you think about this GE show and tell. Unfortunately, this record player was designed for kids. And this is actually a kiddie record player, if you have not seen it before, but this is a very, very nice. It's way better than the original show and tell, but this one barely wins. Yeah, it has a different mechanical stuff, but yeah, it has different gears and all the things than the other one does. The original one does, and of course it's got all the stuff. But when I was advanced the next slide, it won't advance. The slide, it won't advance there because it doesn't even work well. So all I do is just I have to use the film strip to hold to go to the next one, because if you're missing out of the fun, because you're not going to miss the action here. So this is definitely a great record player for you. This is definitely collectible. GE continued to make manufacture show and tells. There were many variations of this model than the other models does, and unfortunately, probably GE continued to make show and tell record player phono viewer right up until the late 1970s, until another company was bought out, which GE no longer owns it. But they stopped producing record players, but probably by the mid 1970s. It ended around that time. I'm going to show you Wikipedia. Hold on a second here for this one. Here we go. I'll just give you a little bit of a history lesson here. GE continued to make these show and tell record players right up until probably by the 1970s, when it was sold to a company by CBS Toy. When a company called CBS Toys bought the rights to the show and tell record player after General Electric stopped making them, and yeah, they discontinued it right until possibly around that time, because it was released a compact version known as the A605, which was for about $20 back in 1966. And then there are a lot of stuff there. Yeah, they try to and then of course they stopped. GE continued to make these record players until the 1970s, when another company called CBS Toys, which actually Gabriel, which also bought the rights to the show and tell record player into the early 1980s under the name Child Guidance, when they release another version of Show and Tell, they also continue to release every other story, record, and film strip albums, and it continued it right up until possibly by the mid 1980s when they stopped making them and they don't use them that much anymore. And this is a very, very interesting unit. And then of course, around 2014, GE filed a Show and Tell trademark, and then when it's first used in 1964, the name of the toy appears as Show and Tell in some text. I don't know, there was actually a song by Al Wilson. If you have not heard of this, if you've not heard of Al Wilson, yeah, he named it after the model of that record player that was actually a phono viewer that was actually used. So I just want to tell you, I have a song to play because I'm not going to get into copyrights. Sorry, folks. And this is this right here is Show and Tell. Yep, finally named it after this record player, but this model looks exactly like it was. Yes! Al Wilson actually, he said that. He said that in a record player. That's what they call it. The name Show and Tell. Yep. He just said it. And congratulations. You found a title of a song that came named after this record player. And this is what they call it. Show and Tell, the song. I don't know why they call it Show and Tell as a song. It's just because of the name. Well, there you go. That was my complete demonstration of my GE Show and Tell phono viewer, record player and viewer, model A660 from probably late 60s and probably the early 70s, which I can tell you, I don't know what year is this made. So, and that ends my demonstration. So I'll give you my final thoughts before I end this video. Alright, we're not leaving yet, just to end this video right now. But before we end this video right now, I'm going to show you the original instructions. Yep, it usually came with this record player, but this is actually a Show and Tell manual. It says, designed for every use by children. So I can focus, you can hardly, yep, there it is. I'm trying to focus a little more. And it says Show and Tell phono viewer. And it gives you some instructions. Yep, there's the actual slogan. Like, yep, that's GE slogan. Progress is the most important product. Yep. Yeah, this is the tagline for GE. In the 70s, they call it we bring good things to life, and then to the 90s as imagination at work. I know GE has some lot of taglines they use in every TV commercials that you've seen in every GE commercial. And here's the thing. This record player, I gotta keep this as well because this is a much better version than this one, and this one needs to go because yeah, it sucks. It never attempt to restore. This is yeah, this video might be an attempt to restore this original show and tell. So I actually, like I said earlier, I took this apart and put this in the thing. So I'm gonna save this for parts. I'm gonna throw this away because I'm gonna try to save these, use the parts unit for that. So I'm just going to make sure that I don't. Yeah, but this is definitely a must to get because this is possibly a very good record player. But I know the spindle needs to be cleaned. And yes, when I test this record, the speed is a little too high. So I know, but it plays fine. But especially the speed, the pitch is a little too high. But so I'll see if I have to think about maybe if they can adjust this. Yeah, it has an AC motor, but I don't know how to try to see if they cleans it off or anything. If they're gonna lubricate it or anything like that. Yeah, I did some. Yeah, like I said earlier, I did clean a lot of these stuff. I cleaned the inside of this turntable. Everything is in there. It's ready to it's already been restored. Everything cleaned in the inside. Cleaned the volume control pot, and actually the switch looks pretty good. I cleaned the condenser lens that was inside of this unit. I cleaned them, and of course I cleaned the lens on there. But all they got, I tested. It looks really fun. If you've seen earlier in the video, that's all I can say about that. So anyways, this is from this record player was made by the same people they did. You can tell this is the Wildcat right there. Yep, you can see there. That's the same name and a different product. It's very different product because both the Wildcat and Show and Tell was made by the same company. And what can I say about this? To test this thing, here's an example. This is a Show and Tell picture sound program. Originally, when I was making this video, because I was playing the Gingerbread Man because YouTube gets a little copyright thing, but yeah, because the stupid heck of a copyright claim that was using the Gingerbread Man story, but I know, but it was made by the Pickwick Singers. I think it was Pickwick or something. I don't know why they licensed every Pickwick storyteller and all that stuff that was used. So I'm gonna demonstrate a new thing because yeah, it says Pickwick, but yeah, it's still under Pickwick, but I'm not sure it was put on one of those kids albums that was on the Happy Time label. I don't know if YouTube would get even booted for any copyright thing. I'm not sure, but well, I hope it's safe. Let's hope if it's not going to get copyrighted. I'm going to demonstrate this, the Three Bears, and this GE Wildcat would play. As you see, this GE Wildcat would play Show and Tell picture sound programs, and it's under the same name, so it's on the same record player as the same record. Let's turn to 7-inch and see what happens.
Three bears are we. This is our story. Listen and see.
Once upon a time, there were three bears who lived together in a lovely house in the middle of a forest. There they are.
Yep,
Little baby
it plays
bear,
fine, but
middle-sized mother
it
bear,
has better
and
quality than
great
this
big
one.
father bear.
When I tested this record, it was
For
just
breakfast every day, they
the
all ate
speakers
pie,
will look
and they each
very
had their own
tinny.
beautiful bowl.
Yeah,
A little bowl for baby bear, a middle-sized bowl for middle-sized mother bear,
children's
and a
record
great
player.
big bowl for
But why
great
not
big
play
father
this
bear.
on this Wildcat? It has better sound quality
And of course, each had a
than
chair
the
to
show and
sit in.
tells.
There was a little chair for little baby bear, a middle-sized chair for middle-sized mother bear,
And yeah, look
a
at that.
great big
Look at the
chair
quality.
for great big father bear. And when night came, they each had their own beds to sleep in.
All
There was
right.
a little bed for little baby bear.
That's enough of that. That's enough of that because I'm not going to test these other 6 records yet, but this is exactly what it was when they played this show and tell picture sound program record on this Wildcat. That's kind of odd to see it's the same brand. Yep, it's probably the same brand and as the show and tells, but this is actually what it should have been. It has better sound quality. For those who don't have the film without the film strip, you had to play this record on that. If you don't own a film strip, this is what I have. This is what I got here. It comes. You can put a film strip in and play the song, play the record, and then it advance to the next one, the next slide. But this one does not have any to have to take the next slide. This is actually an interesting thing because both the GE made both the Wildcat and Show and Tells are actually the same name. But anyways, that's what I can say about that for now, for another day. And of course, I'm gonna leave you with this one because this record player, by the way, I have to see if I can rip apart or anything so I can save them for using for parts. Like maybe I'll have to use a replacement mirror, the replacement bulb, and all this stuff. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Maybe if we can switch this thing over to here. Maybe I'm thinking about this. So hopefully, if I can get this thing a try. So hopefully, we'll do the best as soon as I get thing. Maybe I'll have to trash it out or anything like that. I'll have to keep the whole thing. Just what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna keep this one because this is definitely one I like to keep because it has better quality, but it has decent quality because it's full of garbled sound. You know, the sound quality looks pretty absolutely decent, not really as good as the Wildcat, but when you play it on a stereo amplifier, it plays better. It does play better because this Wildcat was played a little bit better. The quality, because it's stereo, the quality was a little better. This one is kind of like a lo-fi record player because it's pretty much on the cheaper side of things. But this is actually one of the better versions of this Wildcat. No, the show and tell, because the show and tell record player, it was like I said, it was designed for kids. And if you have not seen this, you should check his YouTube channel. You should check out other videos on YouTube. They have other show and tells that was made by GE and some other product that we just mentioned. So if you have not seen it, just check it out. So let's wrap this up and see what it is. So I hope you will enjoy this video and of course this demonstration of this GE show and tell. And I'm glad we enjoyed this as well, because as long as I did, it was actually a success, because this version right there wins them all for us, because I'm gonna keep this thing as a pretty good record player. I'm glad this is very nice. So I hope you will all enjoy this demonstration, and sorry, it's been a couple of weeks since I originally do this video because of the older version has been an epic failure. So I actually decided it's garbage. So I ordered another one off of eBay because it's much better. It has a lot. It works great. So thankfully I had it restored, and things have well done. So it's well done. All right, I tone arm back in here. Okay. Yeah, it's a bit loose now, but hopefully we will do a little better than this time. Well, anyways, thank you all for watching, and I hope you'll enjoy as well. So please subscribe and comment or anything like this. If you need any questions or anything like this about this record player, let me know. Just leave the comment just below. And once again, subscribe. And thank you all for watching. And I'll see you again later. This is Chris, and I'm out of here.